Hey guys, want to support us? You can support us at patreon.com/BattleGeekPlus because every dollar helps us bring you a better show. Welcome to Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about awesome memories about video games. I'm Ryan, and the game we're talking about today is Resident Evil 4! Oh boy. Resident Evil 4. Now this game is my personal favorite in the Resident Evil series for many reasons, which I will explain in this video. And in all honesty, I could probably talk about this game forever. I can talk about this game for probably 10 hours, but don't worry, I'm not going to make the video that long. Trust me. I actually recorded 10 hours of footage, but I'm cutting it down. Don't worry. This is what all 10 hours of the footage looks like. Resident Evil 4 rocks! Resident Evil 4 rocks! Resident Evil 4 rocks! Resident Evil 4 rocks! So I remember back in 2001, they showed previews of Resident Evil 4 with, Leon in the trademark jacket. He's in this foggy, scary area with killer dolls, and the tagline was, "What's Umbrella gonna do next?" Oh boy, what is Umbrella gonna do next? Now, a couple of months prior to the release of this game, my friend was like, "Hey dude, Resident Evil 4 is not gonna have zombies." And I was like, what? How? I mean, that's like having Mario without Goombas or Bowser. Oh. Yeah, so apparently after the tired and true formula of Resident Evil of killing zombies, controlling your characters like a tank, and very scary environments and jump scares, Capcom wanted to go a different direction with Resident Evil 4. And personally, they made the right choice. Because back then, in the early 2000s, we were like, oh yeah, Resident Evil is it's the same game where you kill zombies, but it's getting worse. Yeah, so I pre-ordered the game from my local Game Crazy, which doesn't exist anymore. I mean, Game Crazy was part of Hollywood Video, kind of their video game part of it. And when I pre-ordered it in January of 2005, I picked it up. I also got this really, really cool limited edition laser cell, which surprisingly isn't really worth a lot. But, my unique number was 7,645 out of 18,850. So there's quite a lot of these to go around. After that, I remember putting in the game, watching the intro, and one of the first things they mentioned was, Umbrella went out of business.
Umbrella was finished.
What? So all of this hype about what's Umbrella gonna do next? They're going out of business. Totally. No more Umbrella. Wow, so maybe that claim about no zombies in the game might be true. Of course it was. And our protagonist Leon, who was the hero of Resident Evil 2, was now played by Paul Mercier, opposed to Paul Haddad from Resident Evil 2, and Paul Mercier does a really, really good job. I mean, I love the way he wisecracks.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
I have only one very important question. You got a smoke?
Got gum.
You got a smoke? I got gum.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
And the way he tries to hit on Hunnigan the entire game.
Give me your number when I get back.
May I remind you that you're still on duty?
Story of my life. But yeah, Paul Mercier did a really, really awesome job with Leon in this game. So I remember the big first fight in the village where you have to fight the dude with the chainsaw. I think his name was Dr. Salvador. And I got killed by him. That was crazy. Yeah, so Resident Evil 4 completely ditches the pre-rendered backgrounds, the tank controls, and goes for a third-person view this time. And this time you aim your gun with a laser pointer attached to it. I do kind of miss in the previous Resident Evil games where you would just aim at an enemy, you would automatically aim at them, and it wouldn't be too hard to hit them. But in this game, you get used to the laser pointer really, really fast. And before you know it, you're aiming for their faces, and you're aiming for their legs like a pro. Leon can do kicks, he can can do suplexes where that smashes enemies' heads on the ground and splits them like lemons. I mean, Leon is complete motherfucking badass in this game. Now he's a super secret agent, and it shows. Yeah, and this time the enemies, speak in both English, they speak in Spanish. I remember my friend was with me at the time I was playing this, and he was like, oh, he said behind you. I mean, like, how'd you know? Well, I speak Spanish. Yeah, so the atmosphere in this game isn't as scary as the previous games. This time you're fighting, at first in the daylight, and then you fight in the village, then the castle, then the island. It never really feels that scary because, this game trades the scary atmosphere of the previous games. Like there's not that many jump scares in this game. I don't really think there's a lot of jump scares at all. And this time, it's more intense, on your feet action in this game. Like you have to be on your toes at all times, shooting enemies, moving around, and then there's all these annoying quick time scenes where you have to mash buttons, and like Leon's running from boulders, he's like running from a giant statue. I mean, he's doing a lot of running in this game. And one of the coolest characters in this game, and possibly in the Resident Evil universe, is the Merchant.
Got something that might interest you.
What are you buying? What are you selling? Thanks, stranger. Yeah, you should really see the Mega 64 parody of it. It's really, really funny. And of course, Leon's mission in this game is to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley Graham.
I see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics, too.
How rude!
Who joins you partway through the game. She's with you on and off. She'll get kidnapped, and then you'll get her back.
Oh, you pervert! Leon!
And then there's this one part where you have to play entirely as her, which is pretty intense because you don't have any weapons except these lanterns, which you use to kill the enemies. And then when you try to solve this puzzle, they have these armored enemies and you gotta avoid them, and it's pretty crazy. So I remember the game wasn't exactly super difficult. I mean, there were some hard parts. I remember the fight with the giant fish in the lake where you had to throw the harpoons in its mouth. I actually died during that battle the first time. And then I remember the fight with Vitor's Mendez in the house after the ski lift where he will bring me swift judgment. I died during that part, but I just unloaded a whole bunch of ammo in him, and then I got his eyeball. I remember when I was playing this game, I was posting on this message board where my friends were also playing this game, and my friend was like, dude, there's this crazy part in Resident Evil 4 where you're trapped inside this cabin and you're fighting against 40 villagers like just trying to kill you. I'm like, holy shit. And when you actually play that part, it's every bit as intense as you think it is. Like this game, there's never a dull moment. You're always on your toes. Something crazy is always happening every second of this game. Like there's barely any reprieve in this game. After that part with the villagers, the cabin, you have like two paths where you have to either fight the Chainsaw Sisters or you have to avoid the El Gigante. Yeah, I remember El Gigante. I definitely freed the dog at the beginning, which really helped because El Gigante killed me when I first fought him. I remember I had to switch to the machine gun to beat him because I kept trying to shoot with the shotgun, which is too slow. And then also the revelation behind the not zombies in this game was a parasite called the Las Plagas. And I remember seeing that villager walking towards me and then his fucking head pops off. I'm like, holy shit. I think these guys are even crazier than the zombies. They're being taken over by parasites that eat your brains. Oh yeah, I also do remember the part before you get into the castle, that truck is coming towards you, and I didn't buy the sniper rifle around this time. I got past the ski lift part without the sniper rifle, and this game forces you to become good with the sniper rifle, especially when you get into the castle. And I really enjoyed the castle part of this game. And it's not like a super duper scary haunted castle. It's more of a modern castle you'll visit when you're on vacation, but this castle has a dungeon in it. And I remember the Garador, where he had the Wolverine claws. He was like, Wolverine, the Garador. He couldn't see anything, so you had to shoot the bells and make him attack the bells, and then he'll get his claws stuck in the wall. Then you have to kill the Plagas in the back of him. I do admit the first time I fought him, I didn't know that. I didn't even, shoot the bells at all. I just kind of waited till I had a good shot and then shot him in the back multiple times. Of course, I remember walking into the dungeon, I'm like, oh god, this dude is totally gonna come out. But he didn't. And so I walked back and it was like, I was like, holy crap. And then he killed me. He impaled me with his Wolverine claws. And then one part of the game I remember very well and I found super difficult at first was the part after you killed the Gerador. You're in that room with the water where you had to turn the cranks and they had the scary music with the monks going, Morias Vivi. Morias Vivi, we're going to kill you. Ooh. The scary music. And then the part where you have to move the cranks, and the part where you have to lift Ashley up, and I admit at this part I didn't have the sniper rifle, and that made this part very, very difficult. So I had to go all the way back to the merchant, buy a sniper rifle. When it comes to sniper rifles in video games, I'm not very good at them. I admit, I am a complete moron when it comes to sniper rifles in video games. But I had to get used to it. And then Ashley gets kidnapped. And then you had to go down into the dungeons, it's kind of the sewer area, where you had to fight the giant bugs. I think they call them the Novistadors, and I was a complete moron trying to figure out where they were because they go invisible and shit. Oh yeah, and speaking of me being a moron, I've always been a moron when it came to the puzzles in Resident Evil games, and the puzzles in this game were not very difficult at all. I didn't have to go to GameFAQs to look up puzzles. And then Ramon Salazar, he looks like this little shrimp with gray hair. But he's only 20 years old, but he talks like this.
And get off my back, old man!
Did you say old man, Mr. Kennedy? It might come as a surprise, but I'm only 20 years old.
I really didn't like that guy. I'm so glad when he died. And then the maze part.
Even if it takes your whole life, you'll never get out.
The maze part was pretty intense with the killer dog, like roar. But it wasn't super difficult. I just found it more intense than anything. There's the dogs in the cage. Then they break out of the cage and you have to kill them. And then after that part is over, you encounter Ada again, who survived from Resident Evil 2. Ada, you're working with Wesker. But the good news is Ada is still played by the legendary Sally Cahill. And she also had those shades that act as a flashbang. Here, catch!
See you around.
And then we are reunited again with our buddy Luis, and then boom! Sadler kills him. Oh, Luis! Poor Luis, I missed you. Luis. And then there's our part where you had to avoid all those traps, especially that drill. I was like, oh crap, there's a drill trying to kill me here, but hey, I got totally past that. And then after that, there was the part where you have to fight the Las Plagas in the armor. I didn't find this part super difficult. I didn't discover that you can use the flash grenade against them till my second playthrough. I really, really wish I knew that during my first playthrough. Then Ashley gets kidnapped by the giant bugs, and then there's a part in the tower you have to kill 2 Geradors, but luckily there's a rocket launcher you get before that, and you can just kill them that way. And then you confront Salazar, hopefully trying to end it once and for all, and then he throws you into a pit. But Leon's like, you know what? I'm not gonna fall for this trap.
Won't fall for this old trick.
Hey, asshole. Bang! Oh man.
No more games! Kill him!
I fucking love Leon in this game. He's such a badass and he's such a wisecracker, and he's even more of a smartass too.
Say whatever you please. Die, you worm!
And then the part at the bottom of the elevator where you have to fight Salazar's right hand, Vertigo. And I remember how fucking intense this part was. I didn't exactly kill him the first time, but I remember like, come on, the elevator, it has to go on. Oh my god, this fucking thing is chasing after me. And then one of my least favorite parts about the game was when you're down in the tunnels in the minecart and all the crazy villagers are coming after you from left and right, behind, and you're like, ugh, fucking minecarts. And then the giant Salazar statue chases you. Yeah, this Salazar guy is pretty fucking narcissistic, isn't he? To build a giant statue of him to chase out the intruders. Damn, that thing is fucking huge. This castle is a barrel of fun, isn't it? And then we finally reach the end of the castle where you fight Salazar, And the funny thing is, I had enough money to buy a rocket launcher, and I was just so sick of this guy's shit, I just fired a rocket launcher and the fight was over. I confess I've never beaten Salazar legitimately with my weapons. I just always had the rocket launcher and I just killed him with it. Then in the original GameCube version, we go into disc 2. Leon and Ada are on the boat. Leon's like, "Hey, Ada." I'm like, story of my life. First Hunnigan, then Ada. I just can't, find a date in the Resident Evil universe. And it doesn't get better in the movies and Resident Evil 6. And then the island. Yeah, and actually what's cool about the island is the music that plays during that first battle, like... And you're fighting those dudes with the scarves on their faces, and then you're fighting those dudes with the machine guns. And then there's that part where the Ganado just comes out of the fryer like, ah! Wow. Looks like he had a pretty hot time in the kitchen. Okay, that joke was wrong. I'm sorry. And the craziest part of the island were the Regenerators. During the time I was playing this game, there wasn't that many facts at GameFAQs. I didn't even use a fact for this game, period. So I didn't pay attention to the instructions I got, and I tried to kill the Regenerators with the shotgun, but they kept regenerating. And then I read on a message board that I had to use the thermal scope on the sniper rifle, which this game forces you to get really good with the sniper rifle, and you had to kill the Plagueuses on their bodies. And it took a little while to do so, but these guys were motherfucking crazy-ass mofos. And because this game is never a dull moment, I remember the part where you're driving the bulldozer and Ganados are just like jumping out everywhere. And then once you're done with that fun piece of fun, and then Osmond Sadler mind controls Ashley with the Plagas in her body, taking her away from you. Ashley can never stay out of trouble in this game. Of course, it's a Resident Evil game. It's a video game. The damsel in distress is never going to be safe. Ever. And then Leon fights his old buddy, Jack Krauser, in a knife fight, which looks so incredibly badass, but it's entirely a quick time battle, which I can't stand quick time battles. It would have been cool just to fight with a knife, just kind of like the way you do, but why did it have to be quick time battles? And there's that cool part where Leon just sits on his throne like, yeah, I'm Leon. Oh wait, the president's daughter is kidnapped, I still gotta find her. Yeah, and I really love that part where you avoid the lasers, even though I died several times trying to get past, and Leon is dodging them all Matrix style and shit. Secret government agent training. Gotta avoid them lasers. And then there's the part where you fight it. What's it? Oh, it! He's, the dude that attacks you in that cargo box place, and then you have to drop the cargo, but it still survives. I didn't find it super hard. I just lured him to the barrels and I killed him that way. But that fight was pretty intense. Good job, Capcom. And then I remember the fight with Krauser in those ruins. I actually died a couple of times because Krauser keeps moving around. I honestly kind of sucked at this fight because you have to fight Krauser, you have to shoot him at his feet, and he's like dodging shit. And then he has the mutated arm. I just had to unload a whole bunch of ammo on him, and I killed him that way. Then Leon and Ada reunite once again. And then Leon's like, Ada, I'm being controlled by the Plagas. Ada must die! Just kind of like how Homer Simpson chokes Bart. And then, for the first time in this game, you finally get some help from your buddy Mike in the helicopter. I like Mike. Mike was cool. Mike killed a lot of shit. And then Mike dies. Mike! God bless you, Mike. Leon was gonna buy you a drink. Now, after removing the Plagas, Osmond Sadler finally fights you and says, "It's just like your Hollywood movies, but it won't end that way." I actually beat Sadler on the first try. He wasn't that hard. And then you kill him, typical Resident Evil style with the rocket launcher. Although I had a little more trouble after you do beat him and you're on the jet skis. I've crashed too many times during that part, but I eventually beat it.
Very cute.
Saw the ending, but was it over?
So, after you take me back to my place, how about we do some, overtime?
Was Leon gonna have overtime with the president's daughter? You know, the only girl in the series who's made some kind of advance towards him because Leon's luck with women is bad? No. He still, dreams about Ada, who's a part of him who he couldn't let go.
She's like a part of me I can't let go. Let's leave it at that.
And, a part of this game we couldn't let go. Because we had Assignment Ada as the bonus, which was pretty easy to beat. And probably one of my favorite things about Resident Evil 4 was Mercenaries Mode. Like, I remember Mercenaries in Resident Evil 3 I wasn't really good at, but they perfected it in Resident Evil 4, and it was super addicting. I got so good at Mercenaries with all the characters, Leon, Hunk, Krauser, Ada, and the badass himself, Albert Wesker. I was able to unlock the hand cannon to use in the main game, and the hand cannon was awesome, just like the Chicago typewriter. And then a couple of months later we got word that Resident Evil 4 was going to be ported to the PlayStation 2, and I remember the producer of Resident Evil 4 saying, if they port this to the PlayStation 2, I'm going to chop my head off. I guess that's why he chopped his head off. Yeah, the PlayStation 2 version actually played really well. There were some minor blemishes, but they weren't super noticeable. I remember renting it. I didn't really purchase the game, and I beat it really quickly. And it also has this really, really cool mode, Separate Ways, which you are Ada Wong, and you play like the parts of Ada that you didn't get to see in the main game. And you do see what happens to Leon's jacket. And I thought Separate Ways was a really, really, really good addition to the game that didn't really take away a lot from it. And then after that they released the Wii version, which I also purchased. I didn't really play it with the Wiimote because I didn't like having to wave my hand to shoot enemies. I just put a GameCube controller and I beat it again. And this time you get the Plagas removal laser, which is really cool. And then after that they released this game on Xbox Live in HD. And then on PC, and now it's out on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Although, by that time I've been Resident Evil 4'd out, so I just bought the PC version because I felt that was the most complete version with everything, and it plays in HD anyways. So Resident Evil 4, wow, I've talked a lot about this game, and I could talk about this game forever, but do you know why I love this game? Capcom was starting to see that the Resident Evil series was getting a bit stale, so they decided to take it in another direction, and they did a really good job. I like the third-person view. I love the action. I love wisecracking Leon. I love the characters in this game. Even the villains. Those villains, Ganados and the Las Plagas, these guys were pretty menacing, especially the priests like Morias Vivi, Morias Vivi. Like the villagers, yelling at each other, saying, "Get him from behind, we got the chainsaw." And yeah, I love the environments, I love the village. I especially love the castle. That room with the lava was pretty awesome. Although the producers thought that the castle dragged on for a bit, which I totally disagree. I love the castle. I love castles. And there's the island. I just love the part where the fucking dude in the furnace jumps out. Ah! Yeah, and you get to see the laboratory where you finally remove the Las Plagas. It's a pretty fitting end to the game. And what's also cool about the PC version, the original PC version that wasn't really that good, they released a couple years later, there was a funny modding community for this. I saw a mod where you can play as Link in this game. Like Link killing Ganados. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so does Resident Evil 4 hold up today? You're damn right it does! And where can you get Resident Evil 4? Actually, the question is, where can't you get Resident Evil 4? I don't have the GameCube version anymore. I do have it for Xbox Live. I sold off my Wii version. I also have it for the PC, which is in HD, just like the Xbox Live version. I haven't really played through it because I played through the GameCube version 11 times. 11 times on normal, and I beat it only 2 times on professional. And the Xbox Live version I beat twice. I haven't really played much of the PC version, which I probably will. It'll be one of those games I'll play when I'm bored. But yeah, I do plan on playing it again, for sure, definitely. I loved Resident Evil 4 so much that I did an anime music video to it, to Madonna's Die Another Day, which actually won me a couple awards. You can check it out here. Yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Awesome Video Game Memories about Resident Evil 4. Make sure to buy any incarnation of this game that you can get. I'm Ryan, and if you have any memories about this game, make sure to leave those in the comments below. Take care. So, Hunnigan, how about I get your number? Because, I just saved the world from, the Las Plagas, I rescued the president's daughter.
May I remind you that you're still on duty.
Story of my life.
Story of my life. Hey guys, want to see us play games? Check us out at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus.